This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion. Today, I want to talk about dishonest fucks, whether that's people or concepts. Now, let me take a step back. Some people listen to me because they like me, they like my point of view, they like the way that I back things. Some people listen to me because they hate me, but they're still here because they know I'm right, even if they hate me. But most people don't call me a dishonest fuck. I back my words. 8 books. Thousands of blog posts, over 1,200 podcast episodes, a film. I back my words. The evidence is there. But as a skeptic, as a critical thinker, when I look at life, when I look at society, I'm always looking for dishonest fucks. I'm looking for people that are just full of shit, people that are dishonest. Today I caught one, not that I'm unfamiliar with him. He goes back to the AIDS crisis time. That would be one Fauci. What's his first name? Anthony Fauci. That's right. I forget. Why would I forget his name? Because he's not important. But today he was on CNN, or he was on yesterday or something. He was being interviewed by Smerconish, and Smerconish was asking him about masks during COVID time. And Smerconish was citing a study from Oxford that masks don't work. They don't do anything. Now, here we got Fauci, who is supposedly the man of science. And Smerconish is on a left-leaning network. He's a left-leaning guy. But at least he's asking the honest question. So you have to respect him in that moment. He's not being a dishonest fuck when he asks Fauci about this study. And Fauci's response to an Oxford University scientific study that shows that masks do not work, Fauci's immediate response is, but there's another study that shows that study's wrong. Look, there's no need to even argue or debate. That's just a dishonest fuck. And again, like I said, going back to the AIDS time where supposedly everybody was going to get AIDS, and Fauci knew that wasn't true, he's been a dishonest fuck for a long time. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Mike, what does this have to do with the cost of tea in China? Mike, what does this have to do with trading? Mike, what does this have to do with trend following? What does this have to do with life? Mike, are you just ranting? No, I'm in a search for the truth. Again, I lay out the perspectives, the philosophy, and the evidence of trend following. It's all there. You might have another strategy you like better. You might have another strategy where you think you have more evidence, but you at least know when I come to the table, I'm at the table with real, legitimate information, data, science. Fauci's not. And I challenge you, if you are somebody out there who has chosen some political stance that automatically puts Fauci on your side, even if you don't necessarily believe him, but Fauci's on your side, how the hell could you make good trading decisions? How could you make good decisions with your money? How can you make good decisions about where to find the toilet? I mean, seriously. That man just came on TV. He's presented by a left-leaning questioner, a question about masks and their usefulness. Do they work? He cites an Oxford study. They say they don't work at all. And Fauci, supposedly the man of science, instead of addressing that study, immediately says, well, there's another study. This is life today. Life in the big city. Life in 2023. It is just filled to the brim with dishonest fucks. And I would make the case that if you can't get your honesty quotient going in the right direction on all issues, you're going to fuck up. You're going to mess up. If you don't have the intestinal fortitude to call it out, if you don't have the intestinal fortitude to say, this is that, and you have to sit there because you're a member of some club, some cult, some who knows what, and you just have to parrot what the club tells you to say, you're going to screw up. You will absolutely screw your money up. And money is the magic milk that allows you to move through life. You screw the money up, the magic milk's gone, and guess what? You're fucked. Not only are you a dishonest fuck, you are fucked. You got fucked every which way to Sunday. Yeah, I guess we're not exactly at PG-13 today, so send the kids home. But what the hell? I was talking like this when I was 13, so they weren't sending me home at 13. And again, look, I don't sit around and drop the F-bomb, but sometimes I turn on this microphone and I see some of this stuff like Fauci, and it is so overwhelming. I can't just go the way of some people. There's a guy I follow on Twitter, very well known, and he probably wants to say the word fuck too. But he says goober, which is G-rated. G-rated fuck is to say goober. I get it. I get why he does that. I've had people tell me, really nice people that are probably more religious, people I respect, say, Mike, turn off the F-bombs, turn it down. But when I see someone like Fauci go there, and I've got other examples coming in a moment, but when I see someone go there, I think somebody has to respond in kind, not only with just a nice academic response. No, it's the I'm going to kick your ass response. I'm going to verbally kick your ass response. I had a guest on the other day, smart guy. The episode is coming up. He's from the LSE, London School of Economics. Interesting book. And in that book, he has a chart or a graph, a schematic, showing how us humans come to be. There's the gene side on the left side, and on the right side, the cultural side. On the gene side, I immediately looked at the graph to see what was on the gene side. What comprises us as humans? I saw hair color. I saw some potential hereditary diseases. And that was about it. There's a couple other things, but it was all minor stuff. And I thought to myself, where is the intelligence? Why is intelligence not listed as something that has a genetic component? Now, I'm not saying this particular individual is being dishonest. Maybe the publisher is being dishonest. Every last one of us knows that we get some amount of our intelligence, if not 100%, we are getting from our parents. We know this. They know this. Humanity has known this forever. But we are living in a world where supposedly everybody is exactly the same. Now, look, I do believe in the concept of blank slate as Richard Dennis proposed it, in the sense that if you have a population of people, like-minded people, like people that are similar, maybe they're the same tribe for all I know, generally you're going to find those people do have a similar ability to achieve, a similar intelligence. The blank slate concept says, hey, give me a room full of people that are all the same background, so to speak. And maybe Watson, who was the founder of this blank slate concept, maybe he would say differently. But if you take a bunch of people from the same cohort, some are going to be pushers and some are going to be lazy. But ultimately, there's a similarity there. So I just found the idea that we could say that intelligence does not come from our genes mind-boggling. We all know it does. But these are the kinds of issues that mill around in our society today. Issues that have turned the, quote, social sciences into just basically political science. Economics, sociology, psychology, anthropology. These aren't social sciences anymore. They're all political sciences. Meaning they're all subjective. There is no search for the truth. If we're dealing with math in the world of trend following, 2 + 2 = 4. In economics and psychology and philosophy and anthropology and sociology, 2 + 2 might equal 7. And then they'll justify it. And then they'll say, well, if you don't agree with us that 2 + 2 = 7, what you don't understand is that you had a certain upbringing, and that gave you the ability to understand that 2 + 2 = 4. But for those people that did not have the same upbringing, when they tell you that 2 + 2 = 7, you have to stay with them and go along with their thinking because that's what they understand to be the truth. And that we have, my friend, is a dishonest fuck concept. And we are dealing with that left and right in society right now. You know, back in the day, I ended up doing my last semester of my MBA program in London. And I found a way to get my electives all in international relations. And I remember I had to do a presentation about NATO. And I think the guy that I was debating was defending the expansion of NATO, and I was against the expansion of NATO. That was the position that I had to defend. Well, NATO was created for a certain reason. It had certain members. And when the USSR went away, arguably NATO should have gone away. But it did not. And here we are now, all these years later, where vast numbers of people have no earthly idea what NATO is. They have no idea where Ukraine is. They probably don't know where Russia is. But since their club, their cult, their team told them that the blue team, the Ukraine team, must win, then all bets are off, and they believe it, and we're right back to another dishonest fuck concept. For those of you with a pulse, and I like to think of myself as having a pulse, America has gone to several wars in Iraq. It has gone to a war in Afghanistan. It has gone to a war in Syria. It has engendered essentially war in Libya. That's just in my adult lifetime. So when the powers that be come on and tell me that it's an existential something another for me to believe that the guy that was playing the piano with his penis in Ukraine, the current leader of Ukraine, that I have to back this guy, and I have to believe that this war is something that every American must get behind, that we all around the world must get behind, and that Russia is the great evil, I'm not buying it. It's more dishonest fuckery. Now, let me tie this together for a second with one more little example of dishonest fuckery. 31 genders. Right now in New York City legally recognizes 31 genders. Now, when I say that, if you've got a pulse, if you still have any brain tissue left, you know there's no such thing as 31 genders. It was made up. If there are 31 genders, then essentially there are 7.5 billion genders, meaning everyone is a unique gender. There are not 31 genders. It was made up. It is more dishonest fuckery. My perspective today is critical thinking. My perspective today is skepticism. My perspective is to not just trust what the system tells me, because the system has shown us over the last handful of years, the system is not to be trusted. Let me bring in one more example of what I would call dishonest fuckery. Climate change. Right now, you've taken one of two stances in your mind. Climate change is some existential risk, and climate change is some political bullshit. But how do any of us know for sure? We don't. And you know why we don't know for sure? Because of dishonest fucks. And let me give you an example of why climate change falls into the dishonest fuckery area of life, even if there could be some truth to it. Because ultimately, if you accept that climate change is real, you immediately accept that you are on Ukraine's side. You immediately accept there are 31 genders. You immediately accept that intelligence is not genetic. And you immediately accept everything a guy like Fauci says. No questions asked. So if I bring up this last issue of climate change, how the hell are people supposed to believe in climate change when climate change is clearly now a political issue grouped together with other political issues? So if one doesn't believe that America should be at war in Ukraine, if one doesn't believe in 31 genders, and that's all part of the climate change team, how the hell in your right mind can you be I will accept the notion of climate change, no questions asked. I will trust your scientist, the same scientist that told me for 3 or 4 years that COVID was an existential threat when the only people that were essentially dying from COVID were older people with 10 comorbidities who were morbidly obese. Yeah, the dishonest fuckery, the dishonest fucks are everywhere. And it's up to you to figure out how to navigate. What are some of my solutions? First off, the famous expression that Reagan said about Gorbachev, trust but verify. Yes, I will listen to you, Mr. Fauci. Go ahead and say what you want to say. Now let me verify you. And it all falls apart once the verification starts. Look, I get it. It's dangerous territory for me to even be out on a limb like this. And there are probably people out there, my readers, my customers, whatever, my listeners, and they believe these political things. They're not science. These are political things. And they can't give it up. They can't be a critical thinker. They can't be a skeptic. Look, some of the greatest traders in the world are exactly like what I described today. They might have some good trading, and I'm not sure how they pulled it off exactly, but in their public pronouncements, they say non-scientific shit all day long. I sometimes say to myself, Mike always stayed true to being a skeptic. Mike always stayed true to trying to search for the truth. Because if we give up and we just let the system and we let dishonest fucks and we let dishonest fuckery wash over us and we don't punch back and we don't fight back, we're screwed. It's incumbent upon us with our families, our friends, to fight back, to give them the information. So when it comes to the money department, the magic milk that allows you to navigate society, that our families and our friends can navigate it. And if the dishonest fucks want to listen to more dishonest fucks and they want to go to zero on the money department, be my guest. Everyone knows I'm right. Everyone knows I'm right. I might have a little emotion today. Maybe I've said some nasty words today. But everyone listening knows I'm right. Now, some people are happy about that because they say, damn, I'm on the same page. Cool, someone thinks like me. And some of you people aren't happy about it because you're jealous, because you're stuck. You're stuck in some fucking cult with a bunch of losers who can't think and who can't comprehend a damn thing at all. And you're stuck in that cult with them because you have to accept these political stances because your entire social life, your family life, your friend life is built around these insane issues that you can't question. Yeah, those people won't be happy with what I'm saying today, but they know I'm right. They absolutely know I'm right. Because what have I said that's controversial today? Absolutely nothing. Again, emotion, yes. Controversial, no. All I want to do is get to the truth. I want to chase down the truth. Fauci can't give an honest answer on masks. We can't have an honest conversation about who died from COVID. New York City says there's 31 legally recognized genders. Everyone on the planet, if they happen to have been listening to this episode, knows that I'm right. Now, they're not going to all admit it. Again, that would mean they lose their friends, they lose their families, etc., because they've got to stay in the cult and they've got to play the pretend game that this is all true. I'm not sure what this episode is today other than my thinking, how to get into an issue, how to rip it apart. And you know, even though, again, I sound emotional today, when I turn this off, I don't care. It's when I think about it. Because what I do is I generally don't think about it. I don't think about Anthony Fauci. I couldn't remember his first name at the beginning of this episode, but I don't think about Anthony Fauci. Why would I? He's a dishonest fuck. Why should I think about dishonest fucks? But in terms of sharing, in terms of giving people a way to go about analysis in their life, to dig through all the malaise out there and to figure out how to navigate. Okay, I'm giving you one perspective for how I do it. And I have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of people like me do it the same way. But you know, there's been a lot of turning down the volume in the last handful of years. A lot of people have not been allowed to openly speak. Let's hope that changes. Because the critical thinkers and the skeptics and the true scientists of the world are the people that will have the best lives. I mean, I guess the cult stuff is great. You just drink the Kool-Aid and then you fucking die. Now, of course, we're all going to die at some point. But damn it, I want to go down thinking. I want to go down comparing. I want to go down contrasting. I want to go down digging. That's what I want. What the hell do you want? I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.